It's just made such a big difference in the way that I see my food, in the way that I eat, and the way that I feel. The Lantus usage went down like the first week down to like 35, from 110 to 35, because I was starting to go low. And even though I was eating 250 carbs a day, my weight, I weigh 165 pounds. I haven't weighed this since high school, and I'm 55. I've always thought, been told, once you get past 40, you can forget about losing weight. Never in a million years would I have thought how much weight I would lose doing this, or I would have done this a long time ago. This is the way to go. If you're diabetic, it's definitely the way to go because of how much help you're going to get with your numbers and with your diabetes. It can be reversed. It's just amazing. I am 55 years old. Most of my adult life, I've weighed over 215 pounds, tried all kinds of fad diets, exercise, diet pills, shakes, Weight Watchers, you name it. And I could lose, 10 to 15 pounds, and then I would just gain it right back. Back in 1998, when I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, probably very similar to what they do now, the doctor put me on metformin, 500 milligrams to try to help level to come down. Then he sent me to a diabetes education class where the main topic that they taught was how to count your carbs, read the labels, and limit your carb intake to no more than, the way they had me doing it anyway, was like 60 grams per meal, no more than 15 for snacks. Not once did they refer to anything that had to do with fat and diabetes, which, after seeing the online summit, really opened my eyes. My A1C would range anywhere from 10.7 to 7.9. I went up on my metformin usage because I wasn't really maintaining control of what I was eating and my diet. And I was under a little bit of stress too. Around 2013 is when my primary care physician decided that it was time for me to now start taking Lantus. So he started me out on 25 units. Well, that took me a little over a year to get up to where I was actually taking almost 110 units of it. My blood glucose wasn't under control, and I was still heavy, and I was still, cholesterol was still high, triglycerides, blood pressure, everything. Now, I've also been dealing with heart disease since 1994. I've got 9 stents. The last heart procedure that I had done was in February of this year. Prior to that, in December of 2016, my cardiologist had me come in to do a nuclear stress test, which is something that I've been doing every year. He saw an area that looks like the blood supply was low. So he decided I needed to have a heart cath done so they could see what was going on. Okay. My experience had been stress test, heart cath, 1 or 2 stents, and go home, do 12 weeks of cardio rehab, and, start all over again. Well, that didn't happen this time. This time the cardiologist came out of the cath lab a lot quicker than he ever has, and was telling my wife and myself that, I had extensive blockages in my heart, which I don't think he was really surprised to see, because this is the same one that's been putting my stents in. And he was like, you need to actually get with your regular cardiologist. He said, because what I see is you need to have 6 bypasses. I said, okay. And it just so happened that it was on February the 3rd that I had the heart cath done. And the online summit, the Mastering Diabetes online summit that y'all did, was during that same time frame. So for that Saturday and Sunday, my wife sat and watched every one of those people on the summit and were amazed at, what we were hearing and seeing. And we were like, okay, on one hand, you go in the hospital and you get these 6 bypasses done. On the other hand, listening to some of this information on the Mastering Diabetes Summit, it can be reversed. You don't have to do this. And that's when I decided I didn't really want my chest cracked open like an egg and have my plumbing rerouted. So I was like, okay, we're going to do this. My wife was on board with it. It was fantastic. We became members of the Mastering Diabetes. Everything that we've been doing was plant-based, whole food. I have not had any meat, cheese, and when I say meat, chicken was my big thing. I loved chicken, and I could eat chicken forever, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Not anymore. After seeing just, all the stuff that I've seen and the information that I've gotten from you guys, it's just made such a big difference in the way that I see my food, in the way that I eat, and the way that I feel. It was nothing for me to sit down and eat 5 pieces of chicken, fried chicken, and just, you'd want to just sit back and take a nap, not do anything. And I'm sure it did affect my thinking also. It clouded everything. It wasn't good, but I didn't realize how good it could be. It was just a way of life. The transition process was so much easier than my wife and I both expected. And it all mostly stemmed on the information that we got from y'all. Again, it was like bypass or lifestyle change, because we weren't looking at this as a diet. This wasn't going to be a diet. This was going to be a lifestyle change, and that's exactly what we did. At first, it was a little scary because, nutritionists and doctors are always telling you, especially if you're diabetic, watch your carbs. You can't eat the fruits. You can't eat, the potatoes. You have to watch the breads. Going and seeing, that the plant-based and the whole food was, I could eat a cup of grapes. I could eat, like I do for my breakfast now. I've kind of gone to what Robbie does, and I'll eat 4 fruits. I'll cut up an apple, a banana, a pear. I'll throw a cup of blueberries in on top of all that. I'll take cinnamon, like Cyrus. I love cinnamon. I douse it in cinnamon. I'll throw chia seeds on there, and I've gotten to where just about everything, every time I eat something for a meal, it's going to have either fresh or cooked spinach on it. I've gotten to where I love spinach. So the transition was easier than we thought, easier than we expected, because of the frame of mind that we were in. We were all in, and we knew this is what we were going to do, and we were going to watch and see what happened. And it's just been amazing to see the difference in the way that I feel, the way that I eat, the way that I even act, my moods, my temperament. It's better. It's just all around better. Baseline numbers, insulin usage, things like that were high. Average A1C was around 8.2. And again, I was still taking, the 100 units of Lantus. My blood pressure was high. My cholesterol was 230. My triglycerides were above 150. And I was still on the Lantus. I was still on 2 different types of blood pressure medicine. One, which was a beta blocker, which reduces your heart rate. I got to the point of thinking, well, why am I doing that? Because my heart is not getting any stronger if I'm keeping the rate of it down all the time. I was just not doing too well with my health. And that was all before I started. Now, when I went to the plant-based whole food diet, I gradually got off my Farxiga. The Lantus usage went down, like the first week, down to like 35, from 110 to 35, because I was starting to go low. And even though I was eating 250 carbs a day, and it was all the fruit and the potatoes, I was like, this is working. This is good. So I was anxious to see what it was going to do with my cholesterol. At one point, my cholesterol was down to 99, and then it went back up to 121. HDL stayed up at a decent level, but my LDL was always really high, and the triglycerides were high. My cholesterol, like I said, was way down. The last A1C that I had done was 6.1. So it's way down. My weight, I weigh 165 pounds. I haven't weighed this since high school, and I'm 55. I've always thought, been told, once you get past 40, you can forget about losing weight. Never in a million years would I have thought how much weight I would lose doing this, or I would have done this a long time ago. It's just fantastic to see the difference from 8 months ago, from back in February as to where I'm at now. Just to give you another little idea, when we came out to California, when you go through the TSA line, you present your driver's license and your boarding pass. Guy looked at my driver's license and was like, "You've lost a lot of weight, haven't you?" "Yeah, a little bit." This is the way to go. If you're diabetic, it's definitely the way to go because of how much help you're going to get with your numbers and with your diabetes. It can be reversed. It's just amazing to see the changes that have happened in my body, and knowing that it's not me, it's what I'm putting in my body. I've been doing the best I can to anybody that I find to talk them into try this. 7 to 10 days, you will see a major difference, and you won't want to go back to eating this other stuff. Do not hesitate. Go at it as a lifestyle change. Don't go at it as a diet. It's not a diet. It is a lifestyle change. You'll be amazed at how much better you feel eating this way. The one key that my wife and I found that was very helpful when we started was to focus on what we could eat. Not what we shouldn't eat, but what we could eat. Mastering diabetes. Don't hesitate. Even if you're not diabetic, if you want to keep from becoming a diabetic, do this, and you'll just be amazed at how much better you'll feel, and how much the food tastes better, and all the options that you actually have.